Hey, welcome back everyone. Thank you for being here. And just to get out of the way, please, if you're staying here, please be 18 or older. Again, this is not medical advice. This is not me telling you to purchase or consume any products. I'm just giving you some information, some insight, and I'm just trying to keep everyone safe and try to teach them some if they so decide to purchase or consume cannabis in any manner. So with that out of the way, thank you again for being here. I'm glad to have everyone that watches. Today I wanted to review a couple different strands. I got a tasting pack basically where you get 4 strands in 1/8 kind of type of thing. And I want to go over something that's really important. I got some information, well, not information, but I got some feedback from my family that was like, I watch your videos and I don't really understand, or kind of tune out when I hear things that I don't understand, such as terpenes. So I want to give a quick review on terpenes and just say, and show why they're important and what they do and such like that. So we're going to do a review and we're going to do that today, okay? So let's just get into it. I'm going to jump right into it. I want to do the review. Well, we could do 2 strands, bring up the terpenes, and then do break out with 2 more strands, right? So this is what it comes in. The company is Floret. I'm gonna give this company extremely high praise because they're extremely affordable and their flower is always, never dry, always fresh, clean, and it's very flavorful and it has a very nice smell. Now, every strand I got in this, like I just said, every single one was really good, fresh flower. I'm gonna have the flowers up on Facebook and on Instagram, and I'm gonna put a short up of them on YouTube. But the four strands I got was ice cream cake, cross blueberry. Sounds crazy delicious, right? Then I got a headband, right? Everybody knows the 707 headband, right? And I have a melon. That's the name of the strand, melon. And Super Silver Haze X Mendo Breath. Now, I just want to bring out this little, something about me. I usually do not enjoy any kind of haze, but surprisingly, this haze, Super Silver Haze Cross, was extremely enjoyable, and it still had that, terpenoline, that usually doesn't sit well with me, but it actually, the cross, I think it made it much more bearable for me. Usually when I take consume a haze, I get very anxious, very within my mind, not good at all, right? So I usually stay away. But every now and then I try to, just test it, see maybe if my cannabinoid system changed or whatever, because over time that can happen. And so basically these are the strands: ice cream cake, across with blueberry, headband, melon, and Super Silver Haze crossed with Mendo Breath, right? When I opened up this, it has like that slight, nice, spicy, sweet wheat smell. Not really anything defining because it just has all 4 strands in here, and it goes like, it comes into these little little like strand things. Like each little Ziploc bag basically has a 1 gram in it, so you get 4 grams for $50, which is extremely well considering their pricing. Some strands, some brands, they have like $55 eighths, and they barely give you a 3.5, right? They'll just sit there and they'll give you like maybe an exact 3.5 or maybe even 3.3, 3 something like that. So this company giving you 4 grams for $50, great job. And the quality, I cannot get over the quality. It's immense. Like, I would say almost 10 out of 10. And it's hard to impress, really. I'm saying it's really hard to impress me, and that has done so. And so I'm gonna go from my 2 least favorite to my 2 more of my favorites. And I'm not saying least as like they're bad. I'm just saying I didn't really enjoy them that like as much as the other 2. And I'm gonna go from the worst to the best, pretty much. So not that it was bad, again, just not for me. The melon, right? It was just very basic, not very complex terpene profile. I checked it out and it was like pretty low for terps, and very like, the profile was very slim, meaning that there wasn't that many terps that made up this profile. It was very like 3 or 4 terps, which is not on rare, but usually now it's on rare because everything is so highly crossed that there's terpene profiles that have like maybe 10 different terps. This one only had like 4 to 5, which was not my type of thing. But if you don't really like flavorful stuff, I'm not saying it didn't have any flavor now though. I'm saying it didn't have as much flavor as I would like personally. The the flavor that it did had was definitely melony. You could taste like a melon, but it was more like a dank sweet than like a fruitiness on the back of that end. You know, so it was pretty good. The effects though were great. You know, at first it's very relaxing and stuff. I had some notes that I took so I wouldn't forget because I consumed some of these yesterday. So yeah, the melon was very relaxing, uplifting. I was very happy. I was in a sense of bliss, right? You know, like, and what's really weird about this one, it snuck up on me. Like usually strengths don't do that, but it snuck up on me extremely, like not late, but like out of nowhere, kinda. And it was heavy body effects, and I was like long lasting effects, extremely long lasting. I was actually surprised. So if you're not into really flavor and you want those strong, long-lasting effects, I would definitely tell you to go check out the melon, right? And you can get these strands in eighths and in 2 gram pre-roll packs, right? And again, this is not, I don't associate with this brand. I don't really have no relationship besides I'm a consumer and a customer of theirs, right? This is solely my opinion on their product, right? So the melon, I would give maybe like a 6.5, 7.5 out of 10, based on the smell, how, you know, like how nice the flower looked, and the effects, and the taste. She was not. That's why it's kind of low, but everything else was pretty up there. You know, it was nice, squishy. You could feel that it was not dried out. It was fresh flower, right? So really good. I was really happy about that. Now on to the one that I mentioned that I'm not really into, was the Super Silver Haze cross with Mendo Breath. I'm now, this is kind of hard because I like the next 3, including this one, and the next 2 coming up, are all pretty much close to being tied, right? But this one's just a little bit lower. I might even put it above maybe the headband, honestly. Yeah, you know what? Actually, I just like the flavor of the headband a little bit. I would say the headband and these 2 are tied. I just like the flavor of the headband a little bit better. But the effects of the Super Silver Haze Mendo Breath Cross was amazing. I was happy. I was content. I was chilling. I was playing some video games. I was very euphoric, happy, giggly, very happy and giggly. I was focused on my video games more than usual, uplifted, and I had a very sense of contentedness, meaning that everything was perfect, kinda, you know? Like, everything felt good. Not even only good, but like, everything was where it's supposed to be, right? Like, everything in life was where it's supposed to be. So that Super Silver Haze really stuck out, the cross of it anyways. Yeah, so that's the Super Silver Haze. I would definitely give like a 8 out of 10, 7.5 out of 10, you know? It's just that it wasn't really so my type of flavor again. The effects was great, you know, not really long lasting as the melon, but pretty, you know, middle ground of lasting effects, you know, pretty good stuff, right? And, you know, now I think I want to just, you know, hold off on the next 2 strands, right? And I want to get into what makes these strands have different flavors. What makes you have different effects? Why does certain things taste the way they do, smell the way they do? Why does the same THC and the same 2 different strands might have way different effects? It's because of the terpene, guys. The terpenes are extremely important. It's like a steering wheel. Like, the THC is the gas in your car that's gonna tell you how far you're gonna go, but the steering wheel, the terpenes, are gonna take you wanna go. If you wanna, you know, be blissful, happy, relaxed, the terpenes do that. Not only the cannabis. The cannabis is, I mean, the THC does, like, you know, slight euphoria, maybe some focusing, but the terpenes is what tunes it in way better, right? Now, I'm gonna try to give like a very like basic understanding of terpenes, right? Maybe later on in my YouTube career, I might try to make another video that's more that elaborates more, right? But like just to like give a basic understanding of what terpenes are, right? Cannabis terpenes are aromatic compounds found in weed and the cause of distinct smells and tastes. The volatile compounds are produced inside of the trichomes. So those little, you know, like kind of clearish trikes, the things that everyone's like, oh, it's so shiny, that looks like diamond shining. Yeah, those things is where the terpenes are produced, right? So that's important because the more trikes, the more smell, the more flavor, and obviously more THC and more terpenes, better effects. That's why, this is also kind of important, right? Because now you see how it's kind of interconnected with THC and the plant itself, right? It's not just like some third party thing that's not important. Terpenes are extremely important. Maybe I would say more important than THC, honestly, right? So now, key features of the terpenes are as broken down, right? Aroma and flavor, right? These are the primary contributors that are associated with like different strands. So, like, if one strand has carafilene, myrcene, limonene as a profile, you might get a hybrid, right? Because that limonene is like anti-anxiety, uplifting effects, but that myrcene is, you're sedated, relaxed, and carafilene, you can be on either side with that. It could be sativa or depending on the supporting terpenes, right? So it's a profile. You just don't say, okay, I want terpene, this is what it is. The profile. Usually the top 3 of your terpenes is gonna show or dictate what kind of strand it is, So again, let's say if you have myrcene, linalool, and humulene, that's most likely a strong sativa, right? You got a lot of sedative effects. The myrcene is strong sedative, couch lock. Linalool, anti-anxiety, very much like lavender, relaxing, keeps you calm. And humulene has like that poppy taste where it keeps you like anti-anxiety, has a lot of health benefits, and also is like a really good calming effect. So you might have a strong indica effect from that type of profile. But now on the other side of that, let's say if you have a terpenylene, carafilene, limonene strand, right? This is gonna be usually a strong sativa. That limonene again is uplifting, anti-anxiety. That terpenylene is, very focusing, activates your energy, invigorates you, and etc. These are the things that combine that's gonna give you that effects, right? The profile of the terpenes. So if you go into your dispensary, you're gonna say, hey, instead of I wanted indica, I wanted this, I wanted that, you say, I've been smoking this strand, that strand, and this is the profile that has been helping me. That's gonna give you the ability to narrow the strands that are more effective for you so you don't waste money and you have better experience with cannabis. But not only that, it helps you have an easier like purchasing situation where you don't got to keep going through different strands and all of this, and it's a hassle. And sometimes smelling them is an easy way, right? Because people say the nose knows, right? If you smell it, and usually if it smells like you want that stuff, it's usually a pretty good indicator of you're gonna like it, right? So that's really important to know, that the profile of the terpenes is gonna dictate what kind of strand it is. That's why the terpenes are important. All right. Now the entourage effect is another part of this whole thing, right? Now you have different kinds of cannabinoids, flavonoids, and terpenes. But let's just stick with the basic 2 things right now. Cannabinoids and the terpene. All right. So usually when you get some flower, right, you don't have too much CBD or CBG that much, or other cannabinoids besides THC. All right. You might have some strands that have higher, CBG. I've seen that usually a higher sense of CBG, or some have some are designed to have high CBD, right? But naturally, it's not, going to be there, but it's in there in a very low amount. The primary interaction here is between the terpenes and the cannabinoid system, because even carafilene is the only known terpene to act on our cannabinoid system, right? So it acts like a cannabinoid, but it is a terpene. So that even shows the close relation that they have, right? So this should tell us that, just taking THC or just, prioritizing THC is not what, you're not going to get the best effects. The entourage effect isn't like, okay, THC is important. It's saying that they all are equal. So, just pay attention. Don't just try to say what's the highest THC percentage. Try to ask, what percentage you have in THC and what's the terpene percentage, and try to ratio it out. Because I've had strands where like 19% THC, 23% THC, and it has like a 3-4% terps, and they hit so much better than those 27, 28, and those fake 30%, right? And that's another video I want to make, is how everyone got about 30% weed. I'm not saying it doesn't exist, all right? Don't come and pitchfork me, but I'm saying it's rare, all right? And it's really rare. You have to do certain things and take care of your plants. You know, those big companies are not hitting that percentage, not likely, unless they're doing small batch, you know, very watchful, because it's a hard situation to get 30% into your stuff, right? You might hit 24, 26, 27, and that's even rare. So just be careful and be discerning. Don't trust everything you see. So again, now let's just go over this. The terpenes profile dictates what kind of effects you will get, right? And the entourage effect is the effect that is achieved when you consume THC and cannabinoids along with terpenes, right? That's the entourage effect. Now, this is even scientifically proven that terpenes show that they have demonstrated potential therapeutic benefits, such as anti-inflammatory, pain relief, anti-anxiety, and a sedative property, right? So, you know, this is just a very, very scratching the surface review. You know, I want you to understand just how important these things are in choosing your cannabis strand, and choosing your medicine, and choosing what you're doing if you're already consuming. This is not me advising you to consume for no reason. If you choose to consume, I would tell you, please take into consideration the terpenes and stuff like that. You would have a much better time, right? So now, just to move on, I want to go on to the last two strands of this beautiful Mary Jane. So I went over the Super Silver Haze slightly, but overall, like I said, I really liked it. It was great. I just didn't really like the flavor, right? So now the last one I have here that I was gonna do is the ice cream cake cross blueberry. And when I say flavor, this is a flavor train, right? I smelled this and I immediately was like, I'm saving this for last. It smells like ice cream blueberries, right? It has a very vanilla, sweet, earthy blueberry smell. That earthy blueberry smell. Not like just a regular earthy, like skunk or dirty smell, but like blueberry earth. And it's mixed with like a sweet, creamy flavor. This stuff, I'm gonna go tell my dispensary, please get the 8s and or the pre-rolls, because I need more of this thing, right? This one was really great. I would give this one an 8 out of 10 because the effects were very sedative, very euphoric, very uplifting, couch locky, you know, very good for watching a movie. I watched Transformers 1. I love that movie now. That's one of my favorite movies. I kind of cried through it, but I actually really liked it. It was amazing. And this helped me really enjoy it. So again, I want to say Florette is doing an amazing job. I'm really happy with them. I'm really happy how, you know, they take pride in their work. They're not just money hungry fools. They're actually caring about us. I'm kind of stoned already because I've been also, I want to review one more thing actually. I actually been trying to switch over to tinctures, and MFNY, the big boss dons of the cannabis market, cannabis recreational market in New York, because they're doing it the best out of everyone. You know, Florette is up there too, but I'm saying just in rosins and everything else, you know, these guys got it. You know, they're doing a great job, right? And this is a live rosin tincture. Like, doesn't that sound amazing? Like, I am so happy that they understood what my soul was begging for. And does it smell like some rosin, right? It has that very hashy. This is hash burger. This is definitely one of my favorite strands ever, right? I love those hash GMO strands, those crosses, those burger, Donnie Burger, Han Solo, all of those strands, right? Any GMO cross pretty much is crazy good for me. I love them all. So this stuff is hitting. It's definitely euphoric, strong body high. That's why I'm kind of like chilling right now. I feel this very much. I take 1.5 of the, I take 1 full and 1/2 of the droppers, and I'm rocked. It's like, it has like a very quick effect over edibles. I leave it under my tongue for about 2 minutes, and I have like quick euphoria and like a quick like relaxation throughout my body. But then within like 30-45 minutes after that, it hits in much more stronger, because after you swallow it, it's gonna hit you. So this is a great product. I'd give this one a 9 out of 10. Lately, yeah, I've been trying to, see what's up on a rec side, because usually I buy from Rhythm, which is my medical brand from Rise and stuff. But they raised their prices again, which I don't agree with, because they're charging sometimes more than even a recreational, and they're supposed to be a medical brand. So I don't know why they're doing it. They had a good sale for months and months, so maybe they have to make up some prices. They can't always, sell. So I understand that. But I'm waiting to see what's up with them. And yeah, but besides that, these 4 grams have been great. I really love them. They were some really fresh flower. I've paid prices where $60-$70 for some weed that it doesn't even come close to how good this stuff is. And I get a half a gram more for $20 less, and it's much better, right? So congratulations, Florette. You're doing a great job. Keep up the good work. Keep up the good work, MFNY. Like up, subscribe. Please, if you have any kind of thoughts or any kind of things you want to learn, please comment. And yeah, I'm trying to grow this so we can, have a community over in New York City about cannabis and how to keep it safe and how to consume properly, and actually make a community behind this so we can be safe and keep our OCM regulators and the people that control, like the governor, accountable to our health. Thank you for being here. Have a good day.